Hey folks, this is Chau and welcome to Fitness Focus. I am here tonight with elite national boxer Tiana Guy. We have quite a treat tonight. Welcome, Tiana.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Not a problem. Actually, thank you for gracing us with your presence. All right. As mentioned, you're an elite national boxer. You've been competing, you've been training, and all of that stuff. But I mean, let's be real, boxing isn't a popular sport amongst women. What brought you into it?
I actually started the sport in November 2017. I
Mm-hmm.
originally started to lose weight. I walked into a fine line fight factory located in Chaguanas, and
Right?
my true intentions was just to lose weight, the typical thing. I want to get abs, I want to get all this stuff, and I felt like boxing is one of the sport that would have made me get my goals. And through training, um, they were like, it have national championships coming up. Maybe you should enter. I said, you know what? I'll do it and see how it goes. I won nationals. And then they were like, we send you to St. Lucia for Caribbean championships. And I was like, okay, okay. I won gold in Caribbean championships. And then the rest was just history. So I never really started boxing with the intention to be an athlete in the sport. I just really started for fitness.
That's actually what my next question was. What made you compete?
It just happened.
It just happened.
Yeah, it just happened. It just
But
happened.
there's one burning question on everybody's mind after that introduction. Did you get your abs?
Yes, I did. And I can't stop posting. And I cannot stop posting. I can't stop posting.
That's no problem. I mean, you worked hard for it, right?
Yep.
So, as you said, you came to lose weight and all that stuff, which means that you would have had to start off with some initial dietary changes. And of course, once you reach the competitive level, that diet got even more strict. So, what do you think
Mm.
was the hardest dietary change to adjust to?
The I think the dietary change came about to be more difficult than it was supposed to because of my lack of knowledge. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a story. I was moving from two weight divisions. I would move from 60 kg to 57 kgs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for the life of me, I could not understand why the weight was not going down. I just couldn't. To me, I felt like I was doing everything right. So I was talking to Ria Ramnarine because she was buffing me. She's like, Tiana, I left here. I left you at a certain weight and then I come back and see you heavier. And I'm like, I don't know. All I eat is bread whole day. I'm not sure why the weight is not going down. She's like, bread? I was like, yeah, but mom
Yeah.
does make homemade bread. So I eat bread and butter and cheese and sausage, salami sausage, and that's what I eat whole day. And she was like, Tiana, yeah, that is why the weight is not going down. So I think it was more difficult because of my lack of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But going forward, I think what made it difficult was having to stay on track while everybody else was eating a particular way because I live
Mm-hmm.
with my parents and my sister and they are not
Right.
athletes. So when they buy KFC, they just they don't really consider me, if that makes sense. They buy the KFC, they buy the pizza, and I have to lie down there and be like, no, you're not eating that because this is the plan. So I think that is what made the whole diet difficult. Those two factors.
I can completely relate. I had a period where I was doing some intermittent fasting, right?
Mm.
And somehow the days that I would be fasting would be the days that my wife would buy curry.
Oh, that tough.
Yeah, real tough.
That tough. That tough. I felt that. Curry is like a weak spot. So I felt that.
Yeah, it's a staple. I mean, come on, let's be real.
Yeah.
And what about the activity level changes? Because I mean, you would have gone from whatever you're doing before into, was it a shock to your system? Did you have the typical buyer's remorse, as in, what am I doing to myself?
So, yes, let me just start off with yes to everything you just said. Yes, it was a total shock. Um, Having to go from not working out a day to sometimes two, three workouts a day.
Mm.
That was difficult. But I'm a determined person, so I think what pushed me through was you're not going to quit.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to allow this to defeat you, regardless of how you feel. You will die in training. Go to training and die in training. Not if you have to die, you're not dying at home. So I think that is what was the push to keep me going, as well as, in my opinion, I felt like I was behind in the sport, considering the fact that a lot of the females have been boxing 15, 17 years with
Mm-hmm.
hundreds of fights. So I felt like I always need to play catch up. So to me, I felt like I couldn't miss any training sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and missing one training day is missing two sessions. So that couldn't happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that is what pushed me through the pains and aches and etc.
So speaking of pains and aches, do you still have pains and aches from training?
Yes, I do. I think now it becomes a way of life. So if I
Mm-hmm.
don't have, I wouldn't say pain. Okay, well, soreness. Let me soreness. Injury pains is something different. But I think if after a training session I'm not sore, I tend to question: did you really give your all? Like you was mammaing yourself? Like why did you not feeling any soreness? I think everybody that works out go through that period where the soreness level to them indicates how intense the workout was or how much they push themselves. I don't know if it's just me or anybody else go through that same thought process.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So, all right. So I'm a trainer, right? And
Mm-hmm.
normally, what I tend to like to do is give them a little bit of a push when they first start, which of course
Mm-hmm.
leaves them sore.
Mm-hmm.
But then the following weeks, when there is like, because I give them a jolt, just like you experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And then the following weeks, when the body has begun to adapt and they don't feel that soreness, sometimes I do hear clients questioning the intensity of the workout. How come I'm not feeling sore and stuff? But it's a natural process, the
Yeah.
adaptation of the body, you
Yep.
know?
Yep. And that's very important as well to keep changing the workouts, fluctuating the intensities and different stuff so that your body get the most out of whatever the
Hmm.
exercises or program or however you want to phrase it.
Hey, again, a little compliment on your
The
hair.
dreads, yes, yes. I can't see myself without it now. That's another thing that I just can't envision without. I can't see myself without dreads now. I think this is a new way of life.
It's become a trademark.
Yes,
Tiana Guy,
yes.
the Tiana Guy.
Even internationally too.
Yeah.
Um, most countries are almost every country I go to, people always ask either touch the dreads or take on pictures with it or etc. etc. So I think it becomes a trademark now.
So that brings me to a very weird question. You find a
Mm-hmm.
lot of public personalities getting these kind of public personas.
Mm.
You know, do you think that your hair has become part of your public persona when somebody sees you? So when not if when you become a big international champion and all of that stuff, people would recognize the hair.
Yeah, I think so. Especially since the fact I dyed it red. I plan to maybe keep changing colors as time go along. Yeah, I think that would be associated with the brand I'm trying to build. So yeah.
I can see it now, the question. And tonight we have Tiana Guy. We don't know what color her hair is going to be tonight. Let's see.
I think that's exactly how it would go.
Cool, cool. So, a major part of your development process is in the gym, right? What is a
Mm-hmm.
typical, like just a random typical gym workout? Well, I would say boxing gym workouts look like to you.
Okay, so what I would do is I would just tell you more or less how the day goes. So
Hmm.
before curfew, I would wake up at 4 because training starts at 5:30 a.m. So we have to be at the Queen's Park Savannah
Hmm.
for 5:30. This would have sound weird, but thanks to the whole state of emergency, training got pushed to 6. So I don't have to wake up that early, which I'm entirely grateful for.
That extra
Um,
half hour matters, huh?
that means a lot. That means a lot. So I would wake up, get dressed, meet my teammate Nigel Paul because he lives not too far from me. maybe a minute drive, if so much. We head down to training. The first training session could consist of, most of the times, it's running, some form of cardio. So depending on where we are in the program, at the start of the program, the very, very start, we might do 3 Queen's Park Savannah. It's a slow pace, so about an hour, 10 minutes run for the most. As we progress into the training program, it may cut down to 2 Savannahs. One whole Savannah, we sprint in it. Some days is sprints, 1,000-meter sprints, 400-meter sprints, 800-meter sprints, 100-meter sprints. The strength days, I mean, it's typical strength stuff, the abs, the push-ups, the body weight exercises, some of the resistance band work, weights. That typically is the first session. Then we come back in the evening and we may do bag work, hand pads or mitts with the coaches, and sparring, and some more body work, body weight stuff like push-ups and abs and pull-ups and stuff after that training session. So that's sort of how the days go. I mean, the intensity, the amount varies based on the program and what competition we have coming up and how the coaches structure their program for that phase. But generally, that's what the workouts consist of.
Cool. So we have actually a clip of you doing some bag work. We're gonna get that up now.
Don't start it. Work. Work.
And this is me not wanting to be that bad.
Oh, yes, I remember that day.
So you told us what the start of your journey might be like, 3 Savannahs and stuff. And of course, you've gone a lot further now. So what has your journey actually been like to get where you are in terms of difficulty, in terms of what kind of changes have you had to get here, from when you first started?
I think the biggest change for me, for most athletes, especially elite athletes, happen away from the gym. It happens in their mind, the personal struggles they have to overcome. I think I and Nigel today was just talking about it, that a lot of people see athletes' performance, regardless of the sport, regardless of the country. They just see an athlete's performance and they don't know the backstory behind it. They don't know how much obstacles they had to overcome, mental, physical, family, financial, so many different obstacles athletes have to overcome to perform and be in that top level position. I think for me, the biggest change had to be my mental, the way I view the sport, the way I think I needed to develop a harder shell. That makes
Right.
sense, because I was easily affected by criticism. And it's not so much that I didn't like being told that I was wrong. It's just the delivery of the message is what would have the biggest impact on me. So
Right.
I had to train my mind to ignore how the message was delivered. I just received the message. I know that
Right.
seems pretty simple, but it prevented me from having breakdowns with the gym because I'm very emotional and I'm a perfectionist. That's something I'm working on. I hate making mistakes. And I believe that I should get everything as soon as somebody shows me it. So if it is, I see it and I don't get it immediately, I start getting upset. And me getting upset means my eyes started watering. So the head coach, Ronald Cox, he had a lot of work to do before I started working with the sports psychologist, Jelani
Right.
from his sports company. He had a lot of therapy work to do in that regard. So I think as I went on in the sport training and understanding that everything is a process, I still have my days, but generally, I think that was the biggest change for me. And
Right.
Ronald Cox, he made a statement that I will always remember. He said, the day you get everything perfect, don't train. And that sort of put everything into perspective. Like, here, you will make mistakes. It's part of the learning process. It's part of becoming, becoming where you want to be and all those stuff. So I think for me, that is the biggest change, the mental aspect.
That I can completely understand because it takes a lot of grit to see a glove, a clenched glove coming towards your face and to not be scared.
To not
You know,
blink, to not flinch.
yeah, to just react, So that level of perfectionism, I almost expect it from anyone who's achieved anything. But yes, it definitely has to be tempered by some level of realism. Otherwise, you'd beat yourself up so much you'd never get anywhere.
Yep, yep. And I think, like, some people, they tend to tell me, oh, you're so hard on yourself and why you're so hard on yourself. But I think people fail to understand that I am in a sport where, in my opinion, I'm playing catch up for a lot of reasons. I mean, the
Hmm.
opportunities the bigger countries have, we don't have it.
Right,
The amount of experience the girls have, I don't have it as yet.
right.
So I need to make up for that by putting extra hours in the gym as much as I can, being around the best of the best that I am, um, that is available to me. And after training sessions, I go home and I replay the entire session in my mind. All the mistakes I
Hmm.
made, all the good stuff. Well, now I look at all the good stuff I did from before. That wasn't in the thought process, but all the mistakes I make, how to do it better. And sometimes, because of me thinking about it so much, I would end up dreaming myself doing the correct work. So by the time the next training session, it looks like, wow, she improved so much because I went home, I did so much of visualization and mental work on it. And by me being hard on myself, I personally think it has made me become the athlete I am, disciplined athlete I am. And to say change it, I wouldn't change it, but as you say, I would temper it. I try to channel that energy into more positivity. And I think
Hmm.
that would take me to the next level as well.
Good, good. So now there was supposed to be the Worlds coming up. It's been postponed to next year, but parts of your training was actually a training trip. How
Mm-hmm.
is it different to go abroad and train as opposed to staying down here in your own boxing gym or training with people from other boxing camps and whatnot?
So I got the opportunity to attend a training camp in Ireland, Eden Dairy. It's called Eden Dairy All Female Sparring Camp at St.
Hmm.
Bridget's Boxing Club. First off, I want to thank Liam, Coach Liam. He worked with me so much throughout that entire trip, in more ways than one. Also like to thank the Ministry of Sport because through them that opportunity was made available to me. Um, it was different, I would say. A lot of the first of the time they train at is really different. Because I think when I got there, he told me, okay, so the first session is at 11. I was like, 11 a.m.? He's like, yeah. I was like, wow, that's okay. Well, remember, I'm accustomed waking up 4 or 5 a.m. So I was like, okay, that's good. The sparring. So every continent have different styles. I think for most combat sports, I think that is sort of the thing. Every continent have different styles. So I'm familiar with American, the American style of boxing, or the Latin Americas, the USA, and stuff like that. So the Europeans tend to have a very, what's the word, upright, straight, strong sort of boxing style. So being exposed to that, I think it was very beneficial. It was beneficial. Overall, the trip was a success. It was really, it was really geared, as we say, towards Wales that was being postponed. So the plan was after I went to Ireland, I came back around this time period, fix the mistakes Cox and Doppel would have seen, and then head straight into Worlds. Unfortunately, Worlds got postponed. But overall, I think the trip was a success. You might mute. You might.
We actually
Right.
have a little clip of you sparring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that up now.
Okay. Shot there, one mark. Right.
Ouch. You landed a nice arm. You rock the poor girl.
She's
I mean,
actually pretty tough. Pretty tough. A lot tougher than she looks. Her punches, she has some pretty solid punches.
so that actually brings me to my next question.
Mm-hmm.
How did receiving your first punch feel? Like when you first started?
That's actually a good question. That made me think back. First punch. I think when I got it, I think it hurt more because I saw the punch coming, and at that time,
Mhm.
of course, wasn't um experienced. So I closed my eyes, so I didn't know where the punch was gonna land. I just saw the punch, and I was like, "Oh, mm." I think when the punch landed, I got angry. I got angry at the fact that this person was able to hit you. I don't know why I had that process because never trained a day in my life. I never competed, nowhere a boxer, but I just
I
felt
think
like that
I think
wasn't
that's the
supposed to
perfectionist
happen.
in you. I think that's
Yeah,
the perfectionist in you.
I was like, that wasn't supposed to happen. Like, why that happen? But I think that was the emotion. I got angry at myself.
I hear that. I hear that. But I mean, since then, you've learned to temper that anger, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't say no, it's anger. I think it's more of an irritation. And I try to fix the mistake. So let's say
Right.
I get a punch I didn't account for, if that makes sense. Like the punch catch me off guard, I'll be like, okay, reset. Why did that punch happen? Let's see if we could um find a way to counter it or find a way to shut it down. Or the thought process goes differently. It don't
Hmm.
just go into, oh, I get hit, I'm so angry, I'm gonna just run in and fight now
Right.
because
Right.
it's do or die. No, it don't go into that mindset anymore.
Now you're a trained fighter and you have a kind of a different approach.
Yes.
Right.
Finally. Let me just
So
say finally.
is this something you see yourself doing for the rest of your life though? Like, you know, hitting people?
I plan I plan to be around sport in more ways than one for the rest of my life. But as an athlete, no. I think all athletes have a shelf life, especially in combat sports, boxing, judo, jiu-jitsu, MMA. Your body's not gonna perform the same way as you go down in age. And they'd have younger ones coming up, and the pool keeps getting better and better as the years go on.
Right.
And again, combat sports, it is a very dangerous thing. So with that being said, no, I'm still young, so I still have a lot of time in the career. A lot of time in my career. But
Hmm.
no, I don't see myself boxing for like forever. No. Maybe at
Think you'll have
35, 36, I may morph into maybe a boxing coach if I have the temperament and patience for that. But more looking towards the physiotherapist and strength coach
right. You think
career.
you'll ever go pro by the way? Make
It
some moolah,
depends.
make some
Actually,
money.
actually, people don't know this, but as an Olympic style boxer, you could make a lot of money, especially since IBA now is offering prize money
Hmm.
for medals. Like the gold medalist at World Championship get 100,000 US, silver gets 50,000, bronze get 25,000. That's just from
Not
IBA.
bad.
And then when you
Not
come to Trinidad, you get monies for your medal for your performances. So Trinidad gives you money as well. And then now, with having a certain status, you could approach different companies. Of course, you hire yourself a sports agent and you can land endorsement deals to have Olympic style boxers that's sponsored by a lot of companies. So you could make a decent amount of money as an amateur. For me, being a female, I think the issue with female pro boxing currently is, let's say Clarissa Shields, for example, 2-time Olympic gold medalist. She has done everything you can as a professional boxer. And her career sort of is at a, I want to say, not standstill, but because of the fact there aren't much females in the sport, especially in her weight division, it's kind of like after you reach a certain level, what else is there to do? If you get what I'm saying. Compared to as Olympic style boxer, like Mary Kom, you could be a 6-time world champion. You could be 2-time Commonwealth gold medalist. Like the accolades could keep rolling in as a female. And then you have to look at the fact that Trinidad doesn't have a pretty strong pro system yet. I keep saying yet. So with that being said, your best hopes to really make it as a pro is by doing really good at the amateurs, hoping that a international promoter sees you, likes you, and works with you. So you have a lot of factors into going pro and being successful at it. We don't have the opportunities like the US amateur boxing team have. They have a pretty good pro system. So their boxers don't really stay long. They may stay a quad, half of a quad. They get a couple medals and they switch over to pro almost immediately because they have a good pro system set up. So maybe if Trinidad get a better pro system and the female pro boxing sport develops some more, maybe I may consider it. But as for right now, for me, I think staying amateur is the best thing.
And bringing that gold medal home.
Yep. I think so.
All right. Well, we actually have a video here that might be a little bit of a surprise to you. So we're going to put that video up now.
My name is Chazelle Fleming.
Hi, my name is Alan Ferreira.
Hi, my name is Jamie Lee Phillips.
My name is Daniela Marie Taruba.
My name is Mark Chauhaja Singh.
Hi, my name is Charlene Prokop.
My name is Corinne Singh.
My name is Tiana Andrews.
My name is Tiana Guy.
Hi, my name is Nikki.
Hi, my name is Kevin Lucas.
My name is April Suraj.
I'm a chef by profession.
Some would call me a gym rat.
I'm a fitness instructor.
And I am a powerlifter.
I am a mom, a wife.
I'm a fitness enthusiast.
I also do capoeira.
I'm an elite international boxer for Trinidad and Tobago.
Doing acting, modeling, MMA, martial arts, stunt choreography.
I ride horses.
I am a Spanish teacher and also a rugby player.
I'm an Olympic weightlifter for Trinidad and Tobago.
I'm also a bikini fitness athlete for Trinidad and Tobago.
An elite international boxer. You got to get that right.
Yes.
So for those who don't know, and I mean, I tout it every episode and I'll tout it again, the hybrid body issue is actually our push to actually combat body shaming. We're taking athletes in different sports with different body types. You know, not everybody has that perfect TV body. Some kind of do, and you know, I'll say we because as you realize I was in the video also. We all posed to kind of bring attention to this issue that is body shaming. Tiana has graciously agreed to participate. Tiana, you want to tell us a little bit about why you decided to participate?
So I decided to participate because when I heard what it was about, I felt like this is something that, first of all, it's positive. Let me start off by saying that, and it's an issue that much people don't really want to address. They tend to sweep it under the rug and not understand that it affects a lot of people. It affects their mental health and also their eating habits and the way they view themselves and a bunch of negativity. And I felt like me participating in that and bringing it to the forefront would, I don't know, change somebody's life, change somebody's perspective, change somebody's view on it. So, yeah, that's the reason why I agreed to it.
Well, we want to thank you for participating. It's actually very important to us that this issue gets out there, that people see it, that people understand that, it's okay to love
Yeah.
yourself, to simply love yourself, So thanks again.
No problem. That wasn't a problem. I enjoy doing it.
So next thing we need to talk about is the fact that you are a multifaceted individual. You're currently studying bio and chem, right?
Yes, I am. I took a year off to deal with I think it was Pan Am qualifiers and World Championships.
Right.
So I have one more course to complete, which is hematology.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I am currently doing my BSc
Lovely.
in biology and a minor in chemistry.
Right, but how do you find that balance? Because I mean, you're talking about 2 to 3 training sessions a day.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about studying for your final year, which would
Mm-hmm.
mean a final year project. It's your undergrad, right?
Yes, it is my undergrad.
So yeah, final year project, hematology, blood stuff. That can't be a simple course to do,
No, it
which is
isn't.
something. Yeah. So I mean, how do you actually find that balance? It sounds like a lot.
Well, to be very honest with you, it is. Thankfully, I'm doing my degree at USC, University of the Southern
Mm-hmm.
Caribbean, and the lecturers have worked with me so much, especially Dr. Mitchell. She
Right.
has worked with me so much. People don't understand how difficult it is because with every course, there is a lab attached to the course. And
Right.
with every lab, it have final exams, it have
Yeah.
quizzes, it have its own course outline to follow. So having to
Right.
do that, plus the class, and then having to still train, wake up in the morning, do all my training sessions, it started to become a lot. So it is really difficult to manage all those stuff.
So I was actually going to ask what your biggest challenge is to getting here, but we kind of discussed the mental challenge already,
Yeah.
and we're also discussing the the challenge of balancing school life and training boxing life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So have there actually been any other challenges that you found that you had to overcome, stuff that may pale in comparison, but still it's something that you had to, face?
I think I will say financial issues is one. Being an
Mm-hmm.
athlete is expensive regardless to the sport. I mean, some sports more expensive than others, but
Right.
generally being an athlete is expensive when you consider the eating habits and the cost that attend the training sessions, and then the training gears is just, I could go on and on. So I think that is one of the issues as well. Thankfully, my family, they are really supportive.
Mm-hmm.
Both my mom, my dad, as well as my sister, they all make sacrifices in different ways,
Right.
but in their own way to ensure that I have the stuff I need. So I think that is another challenge I went through.
I hear that. I hear that.
Hmm.
So your long-term goal is not necessarily to go pro. It's more about figuring out how you can contribute to the sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you get there. So you're going towards more physiotherapy and stuff. You said if you have the temperament, you might get into coaching. What do you think might actually push you towards the coaching side of things as opposed to the physiotherapy side of things?
I think that's a good question. I'm not even sure. I was going to try to pull an answer, but then I realized I'm not even sure what that thing might be that might push me either way. I really don't know. I think when it happens, I will know. I think it's one of those things that when I get the feeling or any situation, I would be like, you know what, I think coaching is for me. But I can't say, I really can't say.
We have a question from one of our viewers here. Tell me
Mm-hmm.
about pro versus amateur boxing. I feel like I don't understand all of it because I was watching IBA and some people who lost seemed like winners, at least what I see from pro boxing. I think he's asking specifically about the scoring system.
Yes.
You know.
So years ago, we had the point system, but now we have the 10-9 system.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing that the judges look for is the quality of the blows, the quality of the punches that
Right.
land, and more or less who lands more, who
Mm-hmm.
dominates the fight, who shows ring generalship, who shows more or less the better boxing IQ.
Right.
At the end of the day, what I would say is that everybody involved in the sport is humans. They are humans, so they will make mistakes with regards to the statement that some people that he may think won, they really lost, and all those mix-ups that we see happen.
Right.
But generally, those are the stuff that the judges look at.
Mm-hmm.
Knocking down somebody in the pros, if you knock down somebody, it's an automatic point deduction. In the amateurs, that isn't the case. So somebody could get knocked down in a round and still win the entire bout because of the other stuff I listed. So a
Right.
knockdown doesn't necessarily mean that, they lost the fight or they got a point deducted. But at the end of the day, the judges are human. So if it is somebody lands a knockdown, it may influence the way the judge might score the bout. They might tend to pay more attention to one boxer than the other.
Right.
Those stuff happen. But generally, a knockdown doesn't mean that, okay, yeah, this person at a 10-8 deficit or this other person in lead, or it doesn't necessarily mean that.
Right. It sounds way more complicated than professional boxing,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think what makes it complicated is the fact that professional boxers have longer rounds. So as the fight goes on, you'll be able to more easily differentiate a winner, whereas the amateur boxers, they just 3-minute rounds. So the pace is higher, a lot more punches is being thrown. So a little bit, at times, could be a little bit difficult to choose a winner, especially since they are not allowed to have any draws. So nobody could
Right.
draw. There must be a winner.
Okay.
So that in itself makes it difficult because it has some bouts I saw, especially for the men world championships. They were super close, like really, really close, to the point where I was like, whoever win, I can't even be upset because the fight was like so close. Whereas in the pros, they might have just called that a draw and move on. So I think that also makes it difficult as well.
Right. So speaking of all of this, we actually have a little clip of you fighting in a match. Let's take a look at Tiana at work.
Keep moving. Nice, keep moving. Look your jab too. Catch and throw. Nice. Inside, outside, all the time. I move. Don't stay. Jab to the body upstairs.
So not only are you hitting hard, but it's very hard to hit you.
That's the point of boxing, the art of the three science: hit and don't get hit.
I mean, yeah, but you seem to be pretty good at it.
I appreciate that.
So, well, you did mention that there aren't as many women in this sport. Do you think that the sport is well developed enough to attract women?
I think it has shown great improvement from where it was. I think with the marketing, the equal opportunities they're trying to provide women as well, I think that in itself is pushing the sport. I think the sport is well on its way to becoming just as developed as the men.
Well, that actually sounds quite good. So you expect to see more women, young girls and women joining the sport soon, we hope?
Yeah, listen, I think what IBA doing as well is really big because a lot of time people don't partake in sports because the financial strain is too much for them to bear. So by IBA dangling that prize money, people going to come on. Men and women going to come on. The last Men World Championships, they had 650 boxers registered. I think that is the most ever in the history of IBA they ever had registered for a world tournament. So I could just imagine what the numbers will look like on the female side of things. So I think that is going to attract females from all over the globe to get into the sport and stay in the sport when they get into it.
I can see it now, some young 19-year-old, 20-year-old girl who just started the sport coming up to Tiana. Tiana, you're my hero.
You know, that actually happened to me once.
Oh, you're serious? Give me
I
the
was
story.
I was at an event in Smokey and Bunty. They had
Mm-hmm.
boxing on the avenue.
Okay.
And I was there, and this little girl walked up to me, and she was like, "You're Tiana Guy?" So I was like, "Yeah, I am." She's like, "Oh my God, um, it's so nice to meet you. I could get your autograph." I was like, "Me?" Like, she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, Tiana, you're rich. This is the pinnacle of success. Yeah, you're rich. You're
Note
rich."
yourself, get Tiana's autograph before she gets too big. So now combat sports are dangerous, of course, as we mentioned. But do you think it's something that women should get involved in, that girls and women get involved in?
I think it is. I think it would give women a sense of empowerment as well. And to be honest with you, combat sport, especially boxing, I'm talking about years back, women weren't really allowed to partake in combat sports.
Right.
There still are some countries where they don't allow their women to compete. Cuba is one.
Mhm.
Cuba currently don't have a competitive female boxing team yet. I'm saying yet
Okay.
because they aren't allowed to. But I think with women partaking in combat sports, even if they don't want to compete, just the training alone have so much benefit, stress relief. It gives them something to look forward to. I think combat sports training, you could actually see a progression as you go along training, which of course is motivating and all those good stuff. So I think it's something women should get into. Even if they don't want to compete, just the training alone, they
Mhm.
will enjoy.
So here's one benefit I can see, and it's a video that you shared. I saw on your status.
Let me. I think I know the video.
This girl, this woman, tiny, tiny little thing, that you'd probably pass straight, and some guy got into a dispute, and the guy decided, well, I'm twice her, like literally twice her size.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use my size to my advantage and take advantage of this little girl. She took a couple steps back, one duck and weave, and the guy was on the floor.
I remember that video.
Yes, I think that as a trainer, as a martial artist myself, I also think that again, we don't live in an ideal world, and we need to learn to survive this crazy, crazy world. Women tend to be the bigger targets of certain types of crime, especially sexual assault.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's especially important for women to learn to defend themselves against these crazy people, because we can do what we want to try to stop these crazy people from attacking women, but some just will never get the message. And for those, I think it's important to learn to defend yourself.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree 100%.
Yeah, combat sports are a great way to get into that, because I mean, look at
Mm-hmm.
you. You did it to lose weight, and now you're a literal fighter.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. I think that, and honestly, a lot of women around the world, that's how their story start. They just wanted to lose weight. They wanted to get into a gym, and they didn't really know what to do on their own. So they sign up to boxing, and some of them are professionals, world titles, MMA. That's typically how the story goes, honestly.
All right, it looks like Chau is frozen there.
Yes, it seems. I thought it was me. I was like, okay, no, it's not me. I think he's back.
Is
Yeah,
he?
yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
Okay, right.
All right. I am terribly sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I seem to have encountered some technical problems.
That happens. That happens.
So I have one more major question for you.
Mm-hmm.
For any girl, any woman, and especially young girls, because you know we have to try to influence our children along a positive path.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give to them, to any women or young girls who want to get into boxing?
The advice I would give to them is don't give up. And don't give up goes, it could go into so many different categories, regardless to the financial situation, to how you feel your progression going, to so many different things. Just don't give up. Just keep sticking with it, and I promise you, you would see the results from it. That is the best advice I could give, because I think that is what most of the times deter people away from sticking with the program, as you will say. Little stuff happens, little distractions happen, and they tend to get sidetracked by it. So I think by they choosing a goal, sticking to it, focusing on it, I think that would take them through.
Sounds like some very, very good advice, especially considering some of the challenges that you said you faced. I know it can be difficult. I know it can be difficult. I know it can be difficult.
Very, very, very.
And I would definitely like to commend you for your journey, for where you've reached, knowing where you came from, knowing how you started. I mean, honestly, with the time we spent here has been very enlightening, very fruitful. But we have one more thing.
How is that?
We have a little bit of a get to know you segment,
Okay.
Called the last rep.
Okay.
It's a little rapid fire thing here, right?
Okay.
So 10 questions. Ready for them?
Okay, I think so.
All right, cool. What's your favorite junk food?
KFC.
Ugh,
That's a
the wrong
marketing.
answer.
That was a marketing ploy. I think KFC put so much commercials in my head. KFC. I meant to say curry. I don't know why I say KFC.
Thank
Sorry.
you. Yeah, KFC.
They get
that's the
traction
wrong-
for that. KFC. They get traction.
Squats or deadlifts?
Deadlifts.
Legs or chest?
Legs.
What's your go-to exercise when you're feeling down? The one pick me up.
A run.
If you could work out with or be trained by one person, who would that be? Who is your fantasy workout partner or trainer?
Vasily Lomachenko. He is a Ukraine boxer.
Okay.
2-time Olympic gold medalist and world title belt holder and all those extra stuff. Love his
Nice.
boxing style.
So what's your favorite workout music?
Ooh. Ranges from more or less, it's mostly between hip hop and dancehall. It's a blend between the two. Hip hop and dancehall, yeah.
Hip hop, I don't know.
We'll call it hip hop. I like that, hip hop.
So cardio or weights?
Cardio.
Okay, so you're a boxer, so this next question is obvious. So I'm going to say, aside from boxing, what's your favorite sport?
Football. Soccer. Well, football, soccer for the international people that are watching. Yeah. I love football.
Protein supplements or diet?
Diet.
And the last question, perhaps the most important of them all, the one that, will truly tell us all about Tiana Guy. TV or cinema?
Wow, that is a... Yeah, that really would... It depends on the mood. It depends, because I'm kind of like an ambivert, so it depends on if I feel to be that interactive, I'll pick cinema. If I just want to lay up and be inside, I'll pick TV. So it's like a 50-50 split. It's a draw. I can't decide. It's
So
a draw.
basically, you're nowhere.
Yeah, nowhere.
I'm
It's a
kidding.
draw.
I'm kidding. I was going to say something else, but I shan't say that on it. However, once again, Tiana Guy, Anderson Mitchell is coming up and saying cinema. I think that we have a cinema fan here.
Yeah, I think so too.
But Tiana, honestly, it's been a wonderful time having you here. We definitely thank you for joining us. It was a wonderful conversation. And Worlds next year.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel the preps for that is coming along?
I think it's coming along well. I think that overall it's a good thing it got postponed till March. It gives me more time to fix some of the mistakes I was making and go through the training cycles with a little bit more ease mentally because I have more time to get where I would like to be. So I think overall everything is coming together good.
Awesome. Well, you have our support. You are now Hybrid's favorite boxer.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
We wish you the best on your training journey and in the Worlds next year. Thanks again for joining us. We hope.
Thank you so much for having me.
Not a problem. Not a problem. It was our pleasure. For sure. You know, we hope to probably have you back one day. You know,
yes,
with a gold medal around your neck.
Of course, I love that.
Yeah. All right, Tiana.
All right, thank you.
No problem. Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys, that was Tiana Guy, elite international boxer for Trinidad and Tobago. Gotta get it right. Join us next week as we have actually an international guest. I won't say who, but just know it's an international guest with us to talk a little bit about his experience in that country, you know. And we hope to see you again next week, Friday. Thanks for joining us. See you next week.